Hi, this is trepacer. This is going to be our reaction and review to the Daredevil trailer. The Netflix series. I think it's supposed to be 12 episodes on Netflix. I have Netflix, and I sometimes forget I have it. But it's going to be a 12 episode series, and they released a trailer for it. And like I said, I read the comic books growing up, Daredevil, especially the Frank Miller run and stuff, which I thought was excellent. And Charlie Cox is supposed to be Daredevil in this. And let's see what this is all about. And let me cue this up, and then we shall start and put it in high definition. And let's see. Okay, let's hit start.
Ask me fun before I sit. It's been too long since my last confession. I've been preoccupied of late with questions of morality. Right and wrong. Good and evil. Perhaps this would be easier if you told me what you've done. You think this is still bad? Yes. I'm not seeking forgiveness for what I've done, Father. I'm asking forgiveness for what I'm about to do. I'm just trying to make my city a better place.
Okay, that looks gritty. I hate that they. I think they gave him the costume that. What's the guy? Rex Smith. Remember there was a TV movie um, with the Hulk and Daredevil. I think they gave him that kind of costume too, where it looks like he's wearing all black. Maybe I can find a picture of it. It looks like he's just wearing all black and like a mask, like a over his face. I mean, it looks gritty. It looks tough, but good to see because you see shots of him, of criminals on his dead bodies and stuff, and you see I think Foggy Nelson is shot in. And I think Karen uh, is in there as well. That's character, and I think that was Kingpin. That's it. You see a bald-headed guy standing there, and you see him. Matt Murdock basically saying, "Bless me, Father, it's been watched this game, my last confession," and he tells them, well, and then they go through the various shots of the city, and then he said, and then I think the priest says, "You have to tell me what you've done," and he said, "No, it's not what I've done; it's what I'm about to do." And then you see him kicking ass. I think he's standing outside of looks like you hear gambling and stuff, and then he goes in and you just hear a bunch of violence, and then you see him sticking his head out the window, after what he's done, and then you see a shot of him like coming up, and you see blood's coming from his mouth. And then there's another shot in the beginning of it where you see him getting out of bed and he has scars on himself, and you see him putting on his glasses, and it looks intense. I just kind of hate the costume. But yeah, you can't throw him in like a red costume at night because you have to be kind of gritty. And I think they're going for the gritty thing. Though I kind of, I know it's a superhero thing. I just give him a better outfit. Maybe it's kind of vain, but it looks gritty and it looks good. And I think Charlie Cox is the actor's name, who I've never heard of before. He looks the part, so I'm anxious to actually give it a shot. It says it starts in April on Netflix, so I'll probably watch that on the weekends. It looks good actually. So I'm gonna be like I said, I was kind of indifferent to it to be honest. Even though, like I said, I like the character, especially during the Frank Miller run of Daredevil, and the movie with Ben Affleck that came out years ago. I know people hated it, but I didn't hate it like people hate it. And I have the director's cut version of it, which I haven't watched yet, which I should. But I'll give this a shot. It's on Netflix, and it doesn't look too bad. And it looks intense. Like they went for the gritty, realistic, and so I'm anxious to see him, him in action. Actually, Daredevil, see how he fights. And oh yeah, there was a shot of Stick, the character of Stick, which I think is played by what's the guy? I can't think of his name now. Hold on. Hold on. The guy that was in Silverado, Scott Glenn, I think is playing Stick. That's another character in Daredevil. Okay, famous character. I think that's Stick, who I think basically trains Daredevil. I think there was a shot of him, sitting in an elevator and closing. You just saw his eyes were all white. So I think he trains. And then I think they showed a shot of his vision of what he sees. Since he has the radar senses, his senses enhanced by the accident, and they showed what he actually physically sees. So I'm gonna give it a shot. It looks good. So let me know what you think of this Daredevil teaser. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is trepacer saying so long and take care. And maybe I can look at better shots of his costume because the trailer I didn't see. It looked like he just had dark clothing, like ninja clothing almost, and which I think more attuned to Rex Smith, how Rex Smith was dressed up as Daredevil, and that TV movie with Daredevil and the Hulk fought Kingpin. Okay, so anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free downstairs. Thank you. Okay, a few more things I want to add. I was reading a little bit more about this Daredevil Netflix series, and I guess it's supposed to be during the series you're going to get the rise of the Kingpin, which is played. The Kingpin is played by Vincent D'Onofrio. He's on Law and Order for all those years. One of those versions of Law and Order, and he's a good actor, so it'd be good to see him as. And they're going to have Karen Page on the show, of course, Foggy Nelson, characters, and Bonnie Curtis Hall is going to be. I think they're going to have. What's the guy's name? The reporter. I forgot the guy's character's name. That was in the Daredevil comics as well as a reporter, and it looks like I guess a lecturer might be, but this is I think I read that the beginning of this show is supposed to be I guess the rise of Kingpin, and like I said, there was a part in the trailer too where he said, "I just want to protect my city, do what I can for my city." So that's good. I like it so far what I've seen of it. Okay, and oh yes, costume. Like I said, it does look like the comic thing of us when he first started out, which I think, a second thought, it looks more practical, and it looks exactly as I'm looking at a picture of it side by side of him in what he wears, and it's similar to what he wore in the comics during one of his runs. So it makes sense in a way that he wears what he wears because he's blind. So what does he need to be? He doesn't need a traditional costume to see because it looks, it's covering his eyes and stuff. The top half of his face like this. So what does he need to see? Because he has this enhanced sensor, so he doesn't need, to see, because he can't really see the normal way. He sees with his senses, which is good. So I just wanted to add that in there.